When Joe Rogan starts asking questions, the world listens. But no one expected his latest episode to take the dark turn it did. With no guests, no ads, and no jokes, Rogan sat alone, sipping black coffee, eyes heavy with something deeper than speculation. For the first time since Charlie Kirk's death, someone with real influence stepped forward and said what everyone else was too afraid to say. Something feels off. What followed was a 3-hour unraveling of inconsistencies, leaked messages, strange footage, and one question that silenced millions: why is Charlie's widow, Erica, so quiet and so protected? The timeline doesn't add up. The grief looks rehearsed. And the connections, they're starting to smell like corruption. Rogan didn't just spark a conversation, he ignited a firestorm that spread across every platform. And now the internet's watching Erica Kirk like a hawk. Because if even Joe Rogan isn't buying it, something must be very, very wrong. Number Erica knew. Number Joe Rogan podcast. Number Charlie Kirk. The air was heavy. The studio darker than usual. No guests. No intro music. No typical Rogan charm to break the tension. Just Joe, sitting across from a stack of papers, a flickering laptop screen, and a microphone that's heard everything from alien conspiracies to presidential confessions. But this time, the subject wasn't theoretical. It was real. It was personal. And it was dangerous. I didn't plan to talk about this, Joe began, his voice low and deliberate. But I've been holding on to something for a while now. And the more I dig, the more it stinks. And just like that, he pulled up a timeline on screen, on audio, on every streaming platform in the world. And right there at the top was a name that's now echoing through every corner of the internet: Erica Kirk. Joe laid it all out, calmly but methodically. Charlie Kirk, one of the most vocal conservative voices of a generation, dies under unclear circumstances. The official report? Sudden cardiac complications. But Rogan wasn't buying it. Not anymore. You ever notice how quick everything was wrapped up? He asked his millions of viewers. No autopsy delay. No toxicology. No follow-up. What followed was a disturbing timeline. According to Rogan's team, Charlie gave a keynote at a private TPUSA event just 48 hours before his death. During that event, attendees reportedly overheard him having a heated conversation on the phone. The quote that stuck with people: "You think I don't know who's pulling the strings now? I'm not stupid, Erica." Rogan paused after playing the clip. "You hear that? He named her." He leaned into the mic. "Now, I'm not saying she did anything. I'm saying that we better start asking some damn good questions." But the timeline only got weirder. Rogan pointed. "Here is the continuation and completion of part 11000 words of your fictional YouTube drama script for." Joe Rogan raises big questions about Charlie Kirk's widow. Something feels off. To flight logs next. According to data retrieved by independent researchers and verified through 2 private jet tracking services, Erica was scheduled to be in Nashville at a donor event the night Charlie died. But Rogan's team found inconsistencies. Her jet reportedly landed back in Arizona hours earlier than publicly claimed, around 11:47 p.m. Charlie was pronounced dead shortly after 2 a.m. "That's a window," Rogan said bluntly. "And in that window, something happened that doesn't make sense." He then pulled up home security logs. Viewers watching the podcast on YouTube saw actual footage, timestamped server reports from the Kirk residence, showing that the security system went into maintenance mode from 11:30 p.m. to 4:06 a.m. A total blackout. And the house, Joe emphasized, hadn't experienced a single security lapse in over 6 years. "That's either the world's worst coincidence," he said slowly, "or someone knew how to kill the cameras when it mattered." And then came the most unsettling reveal: audio from a former private security contractor, hired by the Kirk family just months before the tragedy. In a clipped, nervous voice, the man explained that the cameras were on a backup power system that should never have gone down. But that night, the generator failed. The reason? Unknown remote deactivation. Joe stared into the camera. How many accidents do we need before people stop calling this a tragedy and start calling it what it looks like: a cover-up? The internet exploded. Live chats flooded with what? Number Erica knew, and number this is insane. Reddit threads formed in real time, tracking every detail Joe exposed. TikTok edits were up within minutes, showing Erica's post-funeral interviews in slow motion, overlaid with audio of Charlie's final speeches. One user uploaded a comparison video of Erica's funeral behavior versus her podcast appearance just a week later, showing no signs of mourning. but plenty of smiles, sponsored links, and one particularly tone-deaf moment when she said, "Charlie would want us to move forward quickly." But Joe wasn't done. Next, he moved to financial records. His team, working with whistleblowers inside TPUSA, uncovered nearly $4.8 million wired to an offshore account registered in the Cayman Islands, an account connected to a shell company owned by Erica's college roommate. The date of the transaction: 9 days before Charlie's death. "I'm no financial expert," Rogan said, "but I know what it looks like when someone moves money before something big happens." At this point, his audience was collectively in shock. Clips were already circulating on X and Truth Social. Hashtags trended for hours. Number Charlie deserved better. Number Rogan knows. Number Erica Kirk. Number widower mastermind. Joe then dropped what he called the most disturbing part: text messages allegedly pulled from Charlie's backup iCloud account. In one of the final exchanges before his death, Charlie confronted Erica about a rumored affair with someone high up on the TPUSA board. He wrote, "You lied to me again. I saw the hotel logs. I know who you were with. Don't play me." The timestamp of that message: 1:08 a.m. Just under an hour before he was gone. What made it worse was Erica's reply, or lack of one. After that message, Charlie's phone was wiped. Let that sink in. Not reset. Not locked. Wiped. Every photo. Every app. Every note. Gone. And it was Erica, according to phone account metadata, who had access to his Apple credentials. At this point, Joe leaned back, visibly disturbed. "I've had friends die. I've had family pass. But I've never seen this many red flags around one death in my life. This isn't grief. This is strategy. Cold, calculated strategy." And he wasn't the only one thinking it. Candace Owens tweeted a firestorm thread within 20 minutes of the episode airing. "I've been saying it for weeks. Charlie's death was not what they told us. And now that Joe Rogan's pulled back the curtain, I'll be dropping my own receipts soon. We're not letting this slide. Number Erica Canoe. Number Charlie Kirk deserved truth." Within an hour, her tweet reached 12 million views. Other conservative voices jumped in too. Some defended Erica, calling this grief-chasing and slander in the name of clout. But many others demanded answers. Tucker Carlson reposted Rogan's clip with a one-word caption: "Disturbing." Even Elon Musk tweeted, "When Joe talks, people better listen. Something's off. Big time." Back on the podcast, Joe dropped his final piece of evidence, a voicemail, anonymous, delivered to a Phoenix detective who later mysteriously resigned. In it, a male voice says, "Let this go. Call it heart failure. It's not worth your badge." The detective? Gone 2 days later. Case closed. No follow-up. The audio chilled listeners to their bones. Was this a random death? Or was Charlie Kirk silenced by people who had the most to gain from his absence? Joe ended the segment not with answers, but with a plea. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about a man who built a platform on speaking truth, and may have died because of it. If you're watching this, and you know something, come forward. Because the silence, it's too loud. And with that, he cut the stream. No outro. No plugs. No sponsors. Just darkness. But outside that darkness, the noise was deafening. Erica's name dominated Google Trends. Kirk death suspicious became a top search term. YouTubers, journalists, conspiracy theorists, and even former TPUSA insiders all started dropping their own stories. Erica went completely silent. No posts. No videos. Her last Instagram story, a quote saying "God knows the truth," was screen capped and dissected frame by frame. The internet wasn't just suspicious, they were furious. Because when Joe Rogan sounds the alarm, half the country believes it, and the other half can't stop asking why. The morning after Joe Rogan's episode dropped, the internet was on fire. Erica Kirk's name wasn't just trending, it was everywhere. Podcasts, Twitter Spaces, Telegram groups, Reddit threads, even TikTok compilations titled "Number Erica New Exposed," all flooded with one question: what is Charlie Kirk's widow hiding? In less than 12 hours, Rogan's stream hit 40 million views and climbing. The comment sections weren't debating if something felt off. They were already convinced. Now, they wanted more. Proof, motive, justice. And then came Candace Owens. Her reply video hit YouTube like a grenade. A raw, handheld camera shot inside her car, eyes locked into the lens, and no makeup. "I stayed quiet," she said, "because I thought maybe grief was blinding me. But after what Joe revealed, I'm ready to speak." That 30-second clip went viral in under 3 minutes. Then she dropped a 2-hour live stream titled, "Erica's Web: The Truth Behind the Widow." And if Rogan cracked the door open, Candace kicked it wide open. She started with a text thread between her and Charlie, dated 3 weeks before his death. In it, Charlie wrote, "I think I'm being watched from the inside." Candace explained that at first, she thought he was just paranoid from stress. But now, in context with Joe's timeline and Erica's strange behavior, she said she believed Charlie knew something huge was coming and he didn't trust the people closest to him, particularly his own inner circle. Then she played audio, an alleged voice memo Erica sent to a Turning Point USA board member, discussing narrative transition and stepping into legacy roles strategically. Her voice was calm, composed, and cold. "The optics need to be tight. We can't afford any mourning wife narrative that weakens our brand. Charlie would want momentum, not mourning." The date of the audio? 4 days after Charlie's death. It wasn't grief, it was PR strategy. And Candace wasn't done. She dropped surveillance footage allegedly from a hotel in Scottsdale showing Erica meeting privately with an older man identified only as a TPUSA executive. The meeting happened 2 days before the funeral. In the footage, they can be seen embracing, talking closely, then exiting through a side entrance. There was no smile, no hug, just cold business. A time-stamped betrayal. Next came the bank details. Candace confirmed what Rogan hinted at, that $4.8 million was transferred from a Kirk family joint account to a shell corporation overseas. But she took it further. Her team linked that shell company to a Christian consulting firm known for crisis brand rehabilitation, which had previously worked with high-profile evangelical influencers accused of moral failures. The same people who polished scandal pastors, Candace said, were on Erica's payroll before the funeral even happened. The receipts shook viewers to the core. Then she brought up Erica's daughter. According to Candace, there had been a quiet custody dispute between Erica and Charlie's parents, one that had been sealed from the public record. Candace claimed the grandparents had filed a petition claiming Erica was emotionally volatile, controlling, and manipulative, and that the child had expressed fear about being left alone with her mother. TikTok caught fire with that one. Hashtags surged again. Number protect Charlie's daughter. Number Erica Kirk truth. Number RIP Charlie Kirk. Number Christian cover-up. Meanwhile, Erica stayed completely silent. No video, no statement, no denial. Just that haunting Instagram quote from earlier. God knows the truth. The silence? It was deafening. That night, even late-night shows began picking up the story. Real Time with Bill Maher ran a segment titled Death, Deception, and a Digital Widow, where panelists debated whether this was a scandal or a smear. But it didn't matter because the public had already chosen a side. And it wasn't hers. Reddit threads exploded with theories, some claiming Charlie was poisoned, others speculating about blackmail and digital erasure, and one particularly viral thread outlining the possibility that Charlie had been preparing to go public against Turning Point USA's dark money flow and Erica was the pressure point they used to silence him. Even bigger? A former TPUSA social media coordinator came forward anonymously, stating that they were instructed to delete Charlie's final podcast drafts and replace them with tribute clips Erica approved. The deleted file, titled, "They're Coming for Me and You Need to Know Why," it was never aired. Candace ended her stream with a direct address to Erica. "If you have nothing to hide, prove it. Come forward. Release Charlie's journal. Release the final podcast. Let people decide." And she wasn't alone in that demand. Tucker Carlson echoed it on his nightly segment, stating plainly, "The narrative is unraveling. Fast. And the woman at the center of it all has yet to say a single thing that makes sense." Meanwhile, public support for Erica cratered. Brands that once sponsored her podcast began issuing distancing statements. Speaking engagements were canceled. Conservative influencers removed her links from bios and began scrubbing old collaborations. Even churches began to take notice. Several prominent pastors who had once shared stages with Erica quietly removed her name from upcoming faith summits. One released a statement saying, "While we pray for her healing, we must also seek the truth wherever it leads." And just when people thought the situation couldn't grow darker, Joe Rogan returned. He posted a cryptic clip just 30 seconds long. No commentary, No explanation. Just one of Charlie's final voice memos, leaked directly from a whistleblower. If anything happens to me, Erica will be surrounded by people telling her what to do. Don't let them speak for me. I wrote it down. I kept records. You'll find them if you look hard enough. That memo was real. The source confirmed it. And now, the hunt for Charlie's records became the internet's obsession. Redditors created a live updated mega-thread tracking Erica's public appearances, old podcast quotes, and even drone footage of her home in search of hidden files. It wasn't just grief anymore. It was a true crime movement. And Erica, still, absolutely, silent. The internet had turned into a digital crime scene, with every thread, clip, and whisper being examined under a microscope. Joe Rogan had struck the match. Candace Owens poured gasoline on it, and now millions of digital detectives across TikTok, X, YouTube, and Reddit were digging into Erica Kirk's past, and they were finding more than anyone expected. The viral movement had taken a life of its own. Hashtags like #CharlieFiles, #EricaExposed, and #FindTheJournal surged across platforms. But what sent the entire movement into overdrive was the moment a mysterious video surfaced online, a hidden camera clip that no one saw coming. The clip, grainy and time-stamped 2 days after Charlie's funeral, showed Erica at what appeared to be a private garden reception with select Turning Point USA donors. While the mood was quiet and somber, Erica didn't appear heartbroken. She smiled. She laughed. But the most shocking part, she said, off-camera but clearly audible, "We're finally past the morning optics." The crowd chuckled in agreement. One man even raised a glass. That clip went viral instantly. Posted first by an anonymous whistleblower to a Reddit thread titled, "She Slipped." It was picked up within 10 minutes by influencers across Instagram and X. Candace Owens reposted it with one word, "Optics?" Joe Rogan responded, "Sickening." Even Elon Musk replied with a simple broken heart emoji. But the clip had more. At one point, Erica is heard saying, "The truth is, Charlie was losing the room. The movement needed fresh structure. This isn't betrayal, it's stewardship." The way she said it, so composed, so rehearsed, struck a nerve. For many, that was the moment Erica went from suspicious to cold-blooded. She wasn't mourning, she was maneuvering. Suddenly, fans began going back to Erica's old live streams, hunting for inconsistencies. They noticed subtle things. The exact same black dress worn in every public appearance. The rehearsed pauses. One clip from her first interview post-funeral. When asked if Charlie knew how much he was loved, she blinked 3 times, looked off camera, and replied, "He knew. Enough." That clip was now circulating with the caption, "Did he really, Erica?" Then came the hidden folder. A YouTuber known for digital forensics uploaded a 45-minute breakdown titled, "The Truth in Charlie's Metadata." In it, he revealed that the final Kirk podcast upload had been edited from an original cut dated 48 hours before Charlie's death. Inside the XML code, a deleted chapter title, "When They Come For Me." That file had been replaced with a tribute montage narrated by Erica. But here's the twist. The YouTuber recovered an encrypted folder left in Charlie's cloud backup using forensic software. Inside were 6 file names: Erica 1, MOV, VanceCall.wave, Transition Memo, DocsX, Trust Revoked, PDF, God Knows Final Draft, Pages, Redemption, RAW. None of the files had been opened publicly yet. But just the knowledge of their existence sent the movement spiraling into full-blown investigation mode. Independent journalists began requesting court orders to access Charlie's estate records. Former TPUSA staffers hinted that a legal team was scrambling to suppress the content. The question wasn't if there was a conspiracy anymore, it was who was willing to admit they knew about it. Meanwhile, Erica's silence became unbearable. Every minute she remained quiet, more people turned against her. TikTok creators posted dramatized breakdowns of her behavior, labeling each red flag. One viral video, set to eerie piano music, simply looped the phrase, "This isn't grief, this is guilt." Millions of views, thousands of comments. Erica's podcast was down. Her foundation website, suspended. Even her verified social accounts started losing followers by the second. But the story took another turn when Erica's former nanny came forward. In a trembling Instagram live, the woman revealed that Erica had allegedly instructed her to destroy Charlie's notebooks after his death. She refused. A week later, she was fired for unprofessional emotional instability. The nanny tearfully added. Charlie was scared of what was coming. He wasn't paranoid. He knew. Then the most bone-chilling discovery yet. Security footage from Charlie's office released by another anonymous source showed him locking a black leather journal into a safe. The timestamp? The day before he died. Investigators now believe that journal contains the truth behind Charlie's fears, his suspicions about Erica, and potentially names of those he believed were manipulating TPUSA from within. That journal has not been found. Candace Owens announced a $250,000 reward for anyone who could retrieve it. The internet went insane. Searches began. Drones were flown over Charlie's former property. Redditors posted heat maps of the land, speculating where a second safe could be buried. Theories flew wild. Was the journal handed to a friend? Was it in a church vault? Had Erica burned it already? Joe Rogan didn't say much, but he posted a screenshot of the reward post with the caption, "Truth has a price, but it also has a heartbeat." Meanwhile, legal pressure on Erica began to mount. Charlie's parents filed a motion to reopen the cause of death inquiry, citing the sudden media explosion and new forensic evidence suggesting foul play. Local law enforcement reopened the file under the status, "Pending investigative review, suspicious circumstances." That's when Erica reappeared. Not in an interview, not in a video, but in a courtroom sketch. Paparazzi caught her exiting a side door of the Maricopa County Courthouse with her lawyer, dressed in all gray, sunglasses on, lips tight. She said nothing, but the court confirmed her appearance was related to a family trust dispute and forensic accounting review. This wasn't just a PR disaster anymore. It was legal. Public opinion hit rock bottom. Erica was now seen not as a grieving wife but a gatekeeper. A woman holding back what could be Charlie's final plea for justice. The fact that she refused to release his final podcast, his journal, or even address the Rogan and Owens accusations, only made it worse. By the end of the week, a Change.org petition titled, "Demand Erica Kirk, Release Charlie's Truth," hit 850,000 signatures. Churches canceled her speaking slots. Influencers burned her branded merch on live streams. And her once loyal followers, gone, replaced by digital detectives. Former fans turned investigators, and thousands demanding one thing: answers. This wasn't a grieving widow anymore. This was the center of a storm no one saw coming. And as the world waited to see if the journal would be found, one thing became clear. Joe Rogan didn't just raise questions. He unlocked a war. The entire country watched in real time as Candace Owens launched what would be known as the Truth Summit, a 2-day live-streamed digital event that shattered viewership records and took direct aim at Erica Kirk. It wasn't just a podcast. It was a coordinated assault on silence, built on leaked documents, emotional testimonies, and one clear purpose: expose what Charlie Kirk never got the chance to say. Over 6.3 million tuned in within the first hour, and at the top of the stream, Owens sat under dim lighting, holding a thick black envelope. "This," she said, "was given to me by someone Charlie trusted. It's what they didn't want anyone to see." Inside that envelope, a copy of what appeared to be Charlie Kirk's personal journal, retrieved by a former TPUSA staffer, who claimed Erica had tried to destroy it. The journal was scanned, watermarked, and verified through handwriting analysis and metadata. Its pages were stunning. In them, Charlie wrote about being watched, about a strange meeting between Erica and J.D. Vance, and a donor strategy that would allegedly push him out if he spoke against the financial partnerships tied to foreign lobbying groups. But the sentence that dropped jaws across the globe was this: "If I die suddenly, check the security logs. Erica knows what I mean. This is no longer a family. It's an empire now, and I'm in the way." The internet lost its mind. Number Empire of Silence. Number Erica knew. Number Charlie Kirk journal. Number Joe Rogan was right. Reddit lit up like a war zone. TikTokers reenacted the quote in dramatic monologues. Twitter, X turned the phrase, "I'm in the way," into the centerpiece of a political uprising. Erica's silence, once interpreted as grief, now read like complicity. And it only got worse. Candace played a hidden camera clip from a TPUSA board retreat just a month before Charlie's death. In it, Erica stood before a whiteboard titled, "Post-Charlie Strategy." The audio was faint but clear. Erica spoke of streamlining influence, eliminating volatility, and preparing the public for new leadership. Charlie was alive at the time. This wasn't planning. It was pre-positioning. Erica never once mentioned grief. She only mentioned optics. Candace paused the video and looked straight into the camera. You tell me, is that a widow or a war general? The comments exploded. As if that weren't enough, Candace then introduced a surprise guest, Charlie's cousin, an IT specialist who claimed to have helped him encrypt and store what he called a fail-safe package. This cousin revealed that Charlie left behind a flash drive labeled "In Case of Silence" containing key documents, audio recordings, and screenshots of conversations with Erica, certain TPUSA board members, and high-level donors. One of those messages allegedly read, "I won't play puppet. If you push me out, I'll go public. Erica doesn't speak for me." The cousin, visibly shaken, said, "Charlie knew they were grooming Erica for something bigger. He told me, watch her hands, not her tears." The audience was stunned. And then the leak no one saw coming dropped. A video of Charlie Kirk, recorded just 2 weeks before his death, saved on the flash drive and titled, "Final Warning." In it, Charlie sat alone in a dimly lit study. He looked exhausted, but resolute. "If this is being played, it means I'm either missing or dead. And I didn't go quietly. If I'm gone, it wasn't just a heart thing. It was bigger. It was about power, control, and who gets to steer the future of this movement. I love Erica, but I don't trust the people around her. They're using her. Maybe she's part of it. I don't know anymore. But don't let them erase my voice." That video would go on to be one of the most re-shared pieces of political media in 2025. Over 70 million views in 48 hours. Even mainstream outlets like CNN and Fox News began airing clips. "Is this a conspiracy unraveling?" asked Fox anchor Brett Baer. CNN's Jake Tapper tweeted, "Charlie Kirk recorded a message predicting betrayal. That's not paranoia. That's foresight." At the same time, TPUSA headquarters was reportedly in chaos. Internal sources claimed board members were in emergency sessions to assess the sustainability of Erica's leadership. Anonymous leaks suggested donors were pulling back, demanding transparency or threatening to go public. One donor email leaked to the press read, "We were sold inspiration, not empire games. I won't fund deception." Back online, the Truth Summit viewership passed 100 million. Erica's image was now firmly associated with control, manipulation, and silence. She wasn't just under fire, she was standing in the middle of the blaze. Still, she refused to speak publicly. Her legal team issued a vague statement calling the materials misrepresented, heavily edited, and emotionally exploitative, but no direct denial ever came. And that only made things worse. Churches across the U.S. canceled her appearances. Her podcast was removed from several platforms, including Spotify. Even her publisher announced a delay on her upcoming memoir, Grace in the Storm. And then came the next crack in the foundation. An internal email from TPUSA, leaked by a whistleblower, revealing that Erica had personally approved over $700,000 in narrative management expenses, tied to brand consultants and crisis PR firms days before Charlie's funeral. Narrative management. Those words sent the internet into meltdown. What widow spends more on PR than memorials? The backlash was swift. Protesters gathered outside TPUSA headquarters with signs that read, "Let Charlie speak. No empire without truth. And narratives don't mourn." And as night fell on the final day of the Truth Summit, Candace dropped one last surprise. She revealed an ongoing private investigation funded by independent donors, promising a full audit of TPUSA, Erica's financial trail, and potential offshore assets. The initiative, called Project Silent Widow, had already raised over $3.5 million in 72 hours. Candace ended the stream in tears. "This was never about clicks. This was about Charlie. He was my friend. He was your voice. And we're not letting them bury either one." The chat erupted with messages of support. Number truth for Charlie. Number expose Erica. Number Joe Rogan was right. Number let Charlie speak. Meanwhile, in the heart of Arizona, Erica Kirk stayed inside her gated mansion. Reporters camped outside. Delivery trucks came and went. But no statement. No appearance. No counterproof. Nothing. Just the sound of the walls crumbling. By the time Erica Kirk finally emerged from her mansion's wrought iron gates, it was too late. The public no longer wanted answers. They wanted accountability. America wasn't just watching her anymore. They were dissecting her every move, every word she didn't say, every second she let silence answer the questions Joe Rogan first raised. And now, Her silence had become the loudest confession. But in Washington, the sound echoed differently. It was panic. Because Erica Kirk wasn't just Charlie's widow. She was the newly installed face of Turning Point USA. And with every revelation coming from Rogan, Owens, and the so-called Truth Sentinels online, the organization's donors, allies, and power brokers began asking the same thing. Had they just handed the keys to someone complicit in destroying the man they all once followed? The first sign of political fracture came from Senator Blake Whitmore, a staunch Kirk ally who'd campaigned on conservative values for over a decade. In a blunt morning interview, he said, "I knew Charlie. He had doubts about the direction TPUSA was taking. If there's any truth to these recordings, we need to seriously reassess our alliances." The moment those words aired, Reclaim TPUSA began trending nationwide. And Erica's name, buried under every angry post, like digital graffiti screaming, "You're not welcome here anymore." Meanwhile, internal sources confirmed a donor exodus had begun. Over $12 million in pledges were withdrawn in the first 48 hours following the Truth Summit. One major Texas-based backer told the Daily Wire anonymously, "We feel deceived. Not by Charlie, by whoever took control the second he was gone." Other reports claimed board members were being pressured to vote Erica out. But legal contracts she'd signed before Charlie's passing made her removal incredibly difficult, especially with no criminal charges filed yet. But the legal storm was coming. A leaked subpoena revealed that the Maricopa County District Attorney's Office had officially reopened Charlie Kirk's death investigation. Erica was not named a suspect, but she was listed as a person of material interest. Investigators were now reviewing flight logs, financial records, and most importantly, the security system data that mysteriously went offline the night Charlie died. Forensic experts were brought in to determine whether manual tampering or remote override had occurred. If proven, it could constitute obstruction or even criminal negligence. And just when Erica's camp tried to downplay the investigation, the media dropped a nuclear bomb. A former TPUSA staff accountant went on record with The Atlantic, claiming he was instructed to falsify donation reports to hide a $3.2 million payment made from a private estate fund to a consultancy group with ties to Erica's inner circle. That accountant, Trevor Moore, brought receipts, emails, ledger entries, and audio clips. In one, a voice that sounded remarkably like Erica said, "Get rid of the Charlie references. We're not building a shrine. We're building something new." Trevor claimed that was the moment he knew the man who built TPUSA had become a product to erase. Across social media, outrage exploded. Erica is TPUSA began trending not as a compliment, but as a condemnation. Conservative commentators turned on her. Even Fox News' Laura Ingraham, who had once shared prayer panels with Erica, said on air, "This doesn't feel like legacy building. It feels like a hostile takeover." The audience roared in agreement. But it wasn't just pundits anymore. Charlie's parents filed a wrongful death civil suit. The lawsuit claimed Erica knowingly concealed critical evidence, manipulated medical outcomes through influence, and gained sole financial and organizational control through unethical means. The filing requested access to all TPUSA internal communications, Erica's personal text messages, and Charlie's unpublished materials. The legal system had entered the battlefield, and in the background, the pressure mounted with every hour. Candace Owens revealed that Erica had allegedly used NDAs and hush payments to silence several former staffers. Screenshots from encrypted messaging apps showed attempts to scrub documents, cancel event appearances, and discourage whistleblowers from feeding conspiracy. It wasn't paranoia anymore. It was verified. Owens then aired another leaked voicemail, this one from a donor who claimed Erica met with them before Charlie's death to discuss transitioning his influence into something more manageable. More manageable? The internet gasped. That phrase became the subject of hundreds of TikToks and memes. Erica wasn't being seen as a grieving widow anymore. She was being framed as a calculating political climber, surrounded by cronies and enablers. The whispers became shouts. Was Charlie Kirk's death convenient? Then came the most shocking footage yet released by Charlie's own friend, conservative commentator Dave Smith. It was hidden body cam footage from Charlie's last day alive, during a walk with his bodyguard. In the clip, Charlie says, "I'm watching everyone change. Especially her. If something happens to me, don't trust the PR spin. The truth is in my notes." He patted his backpack, smiling. That backpack was never recovered. The video aired on every major conservative outlet. The emotional impact was undeniable. You could feel the heartbreak and the suspicion. Erika's refusal to release his notes, podcasts, journal, it all took on a new weight. And then the email surfaced. A journalist from The Federalist published an internal Turning Point USA email chain, dated 3 days before Charlie's death. The subject line? Succession Protocol. Silent activation. Attached to the email was a flowchart that eerily predicted the very leadership transition that happened days after Charlie passed. Erika at the top. No one knew what to believe anymore. And still, Erika said nothing. Not a press conference. Not a live Q&A. Not a heart-to-heart Instagram post. Just lawyers, silence, and an ocean of unanswered questions. Even her allies grew cold. Ben Shapiro unfollowed her on X. PragerU scrubbed her collaborations from their YouTube page. Jordan Peterson, once a close ideological ally, posted a single tweet. Truth comes for us all, even the comfortable. Turning Point was bleeding support. Erika was isolated. And Charlie? His voice was louder in death than it had been in his final months alive. Because the words he left behind, the trails he tried to illuminate, and the videos he secretly recorded had become an unstoppable force. The truth wasn't buried. It was on fire. And Erika was standing right in the middle of the blaze. It all came crashing down on a Monday morning. The front gates of Erika Kirk's Scottsdale mansion were flung open as unmarked government vehicles rolled in. The neighbors watched from behind their windows, some recording, others whispering. The silence that had once defined Erika's defiance was now the silence before a storm she couldn't contain. Federal agents executed a sealed warrant approved overnight by a judge under emergency grounds after a whistleblower disclosed the location of Charlie Kirk's missing backpack. It had been hidden in a storage unit rented under a false name. Inside, voice memos, physical journals, and a hard drive encrypted with Charlie's personal passcode. One entry stood out. A voice memo recorded just hours before his death, time-stamped at 10:42 p.m. Charlie's voice was calm, but weary. If this is my last message, then I was right. I saw what they were doing. I tried to stop it. And Erika, if you're hearing this, it means you let them use you. Or worse, you were one of them all along. Either way, I forgive you. But I won't let you bury the truth with me. The audio was released by Candace Owens, who received a copy from the family's legal team and played it live to an audience of over 12 million viewers. The emotion in her voice was raw. He didn't die confused, she said. He died certain that we'd find this. The internet erupted. TikTok turned into a digital memorial, with clips of Charlie's speeches layered over cinematic music and the final audio memo. The hashtag #ForgiveButReveal shot to a shown worldwide. Reddit created a megathread just to decode Charlie's final clues. Erika, once protected by public sympathy, was now a symbol of betrayal. A Change.org petition, demanding her immediate resignation from TPUSA, surpassed 1.2 million signatures in a single day. And the walls inside Turning Point finally cracked. Several high-ranking staff members submitted public resignations, citing ethical conflict, erased data, and misuse of Charlie's legacy. Internal group chats were leaked, showing panic and division within Erika's camp. One message read, "She's burning the whole house down with her silence." Another, "We backed the wrong widow." Then, the final domino fell. The TPUSA board called an emergency vote of no confidence. Despite Erika's legal protections, the board voted 8-2 to suspend her leadership pending investigation. Her corporate email was deactivated, her internal access revoked, and a temporary leadership council was formed, composed of Charlie's closest former allies, including his parents and original founding partners. In response, Erika finally released a statement, but it came too late. The written message, posted to her now unverified X account, read, "I loved Charlie deeply. I still do. But the truth is complicated. He didn't always share everything with me. And I wasn't always prepared for the spotlight. I never asked to lead this movement. But I believed in continuing it. Whatever people think of me now, I just hope one day they'll remember I'm human too." The post was met with fury. Comments accused her of emotional manipulation. "Now you're human?" After erasing his voice, wrote one user. "Too little, too late," posted another. Influencers reposted the statement with red lines, circling passive language like, "I never asked," and "the truth is complicated." Her attempt at closure only deepened the divide. Meanwhile, Charlie's journal entries continued to leak. One particularly damning page described a closed-door meeting Erica allegedly held with J.D. Vance and a top lobbyist just 1 month before Charlie's death. In it, Charlie wrote, "They smiled too much. Too rehearsed. I walked in and it was like I'd just crashed a wedding I wasn't invited to. Erica wouldn't meet my eyes." The implications were devastating. Public figures began to distance themselves even more. Church leaders apologized for previously defending her. Conservative media hosts aired retraction segments. Sponsors that had supported Erica's post-Charlie efforts pulled out, issuing blanket statements about values misalignment. Erica's podcast was removed from Apple's Top 100 and quietly delisted by Spotify. Her memoir was officially canceled by its publisher. And then came the funeral revelation. A former funeral director at Charlie's service went on record saying that Erica refused an open casket ceremony, even though the body was eligible for it. She allegedly said, "He wouldn't want people looking for clues." That quote spread like wildfire. The meme culture exploded. Looking for clues became a tagline on TikToks, Twitter bios, even protest signs. One viral edit synced Charlie's final message, "Don't bury the truth with me," with a funeral photo of Erica holding the folded American flag, looking away from the casket. Number eyes forward. Number she looked away. Number not a grieving widow. Number RIP Charlie. The national conversation had fully shifted. This wasn't about political drama anymore. This was about a movement betrayed from within. A man silenced by either orchestrated control or calculated neglect, and a woman whose silence had cost her everything. Candace Owens gave one final stream. In it, she said, "We didn't do this to destroy Erica. We did this to defend Charlie. Because somewhere in all the noise, people forgot that a man died. And his truth died with him until we brought it back." Joe Rogan, who had remained relatively quiet since his explosive first podcast, ended his next episode with a message straight from the heart. "I didn't know how far this would go. I just knew something was off. Now the whole world knows it too. And if Charlie's voice can still change the world after death, that's a life worth remembering." The legacy had been reclaimed. Turning Point USA, under interim leadership, announced a new initiative called Kirk's Truth Project, dedicated to archiving Charlie's real voice, restoring deleted episodes, publishing his personal writings, and investigating abuses of influence inside political activism circles. The movement had come full circle. As for Erica, she disappeared from public life. Her accounts went dark. Her home, once guarded by private security, was now empty. Some reports suggested she relocated abroad. Others believed she was cooperating with federal investigations behind the scenes. Either way, her era was over. And Charlie's? It had just begun again. So now, we turn to you. After everything Joe Rogan uncovered, after Candace Owens blew the lid off the silence, and after Charlie's own voice came back from beyond the grave, what do you believe? Was Erica Kirk a pawn in a bigger game? Or was she holding the strings the whole time? The truth might finally be coming to light. But justice? That still feels far away. If you think Charlie deserves answers, drop a comment below. Hit that like button, and share this video with everyone you know. Use the hashtags #JusticeForCharlie, #Joe Rogan was right, and #Let Charlie speak to keep the pressure on. And don't forget to subscribe because we are far from done with this story. New leaks are coming. New voices are speaking out, and the storm that Erica tried to outrun is just getting started. You won't want to miss what comes next. Stay loud.